Welcome to redone episode 552B of This Week in League. I'm Nate.
And I'm Jay.
And I'm Glenn.
It's late. Origin's just finished. Let's smash through it. First thing. Well, look, no, fuck it. We always got time for fucking touch, and we missed out on the last week too. So C-grade touch, 2 weeks worth. Can't you better have scored some tries to make it worthwhile?
Well, I didn't play the weekend before last because
So you
I was
fucking
in Sydney.
Reece Walshed it.
I was in Sydney, and then we had a bye last weekend, so you haven't actually missed that much. But in the game where I was in Sydney, we went down narrowly to...
Don't say we, say they. You weren't there. You were in Sydney. You weren't even fucking watching them.
Oh, God. I really find you hard to deal with at the moment. Normally it's this other cunt, but
I don't want to be
right
the
at the minute
Nazi,
it's you.
But you're saying we after you just said you were in Sydney. So unless you're
It's still the team. It's still, I'm still part
were
of the
you
team.
on FaceTime the whole time, fucking
God.
cheerleading for him, or
Unfortunately, one of the young fellas dived to score a try, and a guy on the other team was running across in cover, had to jump over someone who was sort of diving to try and make a touch, and come down on the young fella's finger, and basically split the bone in the top of his finger. He's still in hospital. He's had to have obviously surgery, and then he's got an infection, so he's still in hospital at the moment. Poor little fella, Jacko.
I knew that touch football could be such a fucking could hospitalise you literally for a week.
Yeah. So that's terrible news for Jacko, who's he's only young, but Jesus, he's a good middle. He's good. He's playing rep touch this year, and so hopefully he can make a speedy recovery. But other than that, by last week, Jackson played both B grade and A grade in the absolute pissing rain, horizontal rain. It was so good because I wasn't out there. I was in the clubhouse watching him. But yeah, so not a great deal to report for Big Diesel's antics because there have been none.
Disappointing.
Yes. You know what's disappointing? Your attitude.
Jesus, fuck.
That's the way it's going to be this week, Glennie. You're going to be disappointing, and I'm going to be disappointed. Well, that's the dynamic.
14 years straight.
Yeah,
Why change it?
Yeah, even when you weren't on here, I was still very disappointed the entire time. I just wasn't telling you about it every week for 6 months of the year. Fucking all right. So, first things first. The State of Origin. Can't even remember what the fucking score was, but
38-10.
There were some key moments. Obviously, like 5 minutes into the game,
Jesus.
with a fucking imbecile rugby union player. I mean, in the Lost episode last week, I mean, Stepdad and I were talking about,
normally an automatic.
People
omission.
going to rugby were never getting picked. I mean, that was kind of like, if the deal was done or whatever, I mean, it was kind of like, that's it, like it's almost like you've sort of marked yourself unavailable selection. I mean, the guy's not a centre. He's barely a player. The tackle, like in the NRL, fucking, of course, like, I mean, despite what we saw Jared Maria-Hargraves do last week and not get penalised and got a fine, despite it being the same tackle as that, in the NRL week to week, that was like 100% like a send-off, like every day of the week.
Yeah.
Like, every in Origin, though, I don't know. It's Origin, right? Game's gone soft. And with Reece Walsh passing his HIA, and but for the fact that he faked it and lay down so well at the time that he was ruled out, that he was ruled category one on the field, and then he got off the field and passed it. So I mean, look, on one hand, congratulations. I mean, it's just another check on his name for being the player that everyone thinks he is. But at the same time, I mean, also a match winning tactic as well.
Yeah,
which paid great dividends. I don't know. I mean, like Queensland had there were a couple of standout sort of players on there. Daly, man of the match again. Ben Hunt was great as well. I mean, he's great when he's put on with a mission, and like he scores a fucking great tries in this game as well. I mean, so that last one especially just made fucking who was it that he ran through at the end there?
Liam Martin.
Kicked off. And like Liam Martin, otherwise had a pretty fucking good game, and he had some of those Origin kind of moments in the game.
Martin was great.
Spencer Lanier, I haven't seen anyone harness the power of racism as well as Spencer Lanier did tonight, like since probably like Hitler. Oh, maybe South Africa.
And then can I point out
Spencer Lanier third?
How fulfilling it was. To see, look, and it probably would have been called back for a double movement, but to see the hammer, who is a strikingly similar hue to the player that he fucking racially abused, spoil his fucking picnic.
It was nice to see.
Yes. I thought Lomax had a good debut. You're right.
Yeah, he was really slow to start, and the attempted tackle he tried to put on who it was down the side like Cobbo or whatever was just atrocious. But as the game went on, particularly in the second half, I think he sort of lifted and he kind of delivered the sort of play that he would have been selected to deliver. I thought so. Yeah. And ultimately, I think he probably justified his selection. Ultimately,
Crichton was good.
Crichton was very good.
Fucking Teddy.
To'o was kind of non-existent. I mean, because by nature of the I just rarely heard him.
Didn't have as many. He had a few tough carries coming out of there, that as you'd expect from him. But
as well, defensively, did his job.
Yeah.
But
man, like
James Tedesco has spent an entire fucking career not passing. And the one he chooses to learn is the battle.
That's
the one style of pass that he's chosen to learn.
The most difficult, and dare I say, a large portion of chance involved.
Yeah,
in these things coming off.
Do you have a pass that's sort of close to the game roulette?
Russian roulette.
Yeah. I'll learn that one, please. For my lucky recall because of injury.
Yeah, look, you would assume that Dylan Edwards comes back and that changes things. But my God, I mean, the thing in New South Wales, despite the man disadvantage and the fatigue and everything that takes, like they in the first sort of 25 minutes of the second half, they played fucking great and actually at least physically, they were well in the game. And what it came down to at that point, being like 20-10 or something, is a lack of ability in the halves to fucking create anything. Now, Luai, I give a little bit of a pass because he's like a running guy, and so obviously the sin bin and the lack of numbers to play with, would have affected that. But he had.
I still felt like he had a lot of dangerous moments.
Like little to no organisation. But the person I really want to fucking scapegoat here is fucking Cooper Johns with the wet hair, fucking Nicho Hines. I'm going to say something, and this is on tape. This goes on the record. I'm only going to say it once, so rewind it, and listen to it again if you want to hear it. Famously, in the Trent Barrett era at Manly, Nicho Hines had a contract, 2-year deal signed. He's a junior at Manly, and he had a 2-year deal signed, and Trent Barrett knocked it on the head and said that he wasn't first grade standard. Now I come here to you tonight, a humble man, a man who is big enough to admit when he's wrong about things, and I'm going to tell you right here now, Trent Barrett was right. Have a soft draw all fucking year, and let me tell you, when you come into the hardest form of the game, you go to butter. But what about his kicking game? What kicking game? I said fucking Tawera Nickau and fucking Alex McKinnon could outkick him.
Well, there is that classic phrase, a true thing said by a fuckhead is no less a true thing.
Yeah, and there's also that one is like, the worst person just made an excellent point. And I agree on both. But just like his defense, fucking non-existent.
Yeah.
like when you're defending on the right hand side, which is a side we found ourselves often short, after the sin binning, the bare minimum you've got to do. If you can't pick your moments, if you can't slide, you got to, like, when it comes down to you and the guy carrying the ball, you got to make the tackle. You've just got to make you've got to at least slow them down.
Yeah, that's it.
But I mean,
yeah,
just absolutely atrocious. Would have been worse on the field if it wasn't for fucking Swaley getting sent off, and maybe that 5 minutes of, like Swaley did get that fucking great shot on Reece Walsh. So I'm thinking he's probably had more positive moments, but here's another thing I'm going to say. Coming up, a humble man. I think if Mitch Moses is fucking halfback in that game, I think New South Wales could have won, despite the sin bin.
Jesus Christ!
I think that his kicking game,
territorial game,
territorially,
yeah.
When Queensland started to sort of wrestle it back, sort of in between the 60th and 70th minutes,
yep.
I think if he could, he could have turned it back around, or at least try to, kept, territorially New South Wales in the game with some kicks into the corners and things like that. And I just think in terms of attack, I think he what he showed in the game on the weekend that we're not doing the recaps for is he also showed a lot there as well. I think, one game's a lot to go off, but look, in the Freddie Fittler era, Nicho Hynes was marked never to represent again, and there's obviously been regime change there, and Maguire's come in and he can do what he wants to do, and he did, and this is what fucking happened.
Yep.
So
there we go.
Brooksy would have fucking Brooksy and Moses, Brooksy and Luai, Moses and Luai, pick your fucking combination, and that's game one in the bag for New South Wales.
Yes.
Despite everything else.
But there you go. Surprise, surprise. 7 minutes into Origin, and Ashley Klein makes sure that every newspaper article's about him tomorrow.
Yeah, he loves to be the main character, and he invariably finds a way to become the main character.
And just the way he sent him off, you could tell that he had a little fucking shiver happening.
But there was also like the dumb fucking penalty when like Tedesco was bringing the ball back after a kick, and he's got like tackled hard, and his legs come off the ground. And that was a penalty for something.
Above the horizontal.
Which it wasn't, and then you see like then there was like an Isaiah Yo one where he fucking just fully just bicep straight to the face of a dude. That never even got mentioned by anyone, like that, nothing at all. Ashley Klein is a fucking shit referee.
Yeah.
And it's a showpiece of the game. You get your best referees in there, or you don't, or you get Ashley Klein. But look, at the end of the day, despite the fact that New South Wales tried to come back into it, Queensland did what they had to do, particularly in that part, immediately after in the first half, that period where we'd create the overlap on the left-hand side, on their left-hand side, and then there'd be like four guys in there because ultimately they run out of fucking guys in cover defence. So they just they had enough guys coming through in support to make those tries, fucking guaranteed.
Yep.
Sewer was instrumental in that. I thought he, certainly in the first half, I thought he was really good. Ran the ball. His lines were impeccable and really tested the defence and created, offloads which led to points. The questionable selection of Cobbo on the bench turned to absolute gold after the send-off.
It almost makes you think that the game was scripted. Because in what other scenario was that a fucking...
I was talking today at work. I was like, just Cobbo on the bench. It just doesn't, especially when you got Kafusi in there and 18, and I was just like, there's going to come time in the game where you just feel like you need to have someone like Kafusi out there, and as it turned out, it was 7 minutes in, and Cobbo's in the centres where he always goes quite well, and the Hammers at fullback where he's been killing it, and albeit Reece Walsh was off the field, but they didn't bloody miss a beat. And Kafusi comes on and does his thing. Like, he was a pretty understated performance.
Also, they got to have their Kafusi and eat it as well. And and by the same token, New South Wales really could have fucking used Birdo.
Yeah.
On the bench. Like instead in places like Hudson Young, who, like I remember he tried to kick that fucking ball out the back of the fence, and it just was luckily hit the post, and so so it didn't go. But like he was a non-contributor in his last Origin attempt campaign, and again this time as well, another nonsensical selection, but. Also, who fucking knows? I mean, with the send off, it sort of it upends a lot of things. I think it's hard to talk about selections and things like that, and I think they'll probably trot out maybe similar sorts of sides pending injury and suspension for the second game. But New South Wales again. Losing a game one when losing the home game in these series where they insist on taking like one of the 3 games to another place. You got to win your home games.
That's it.
Yeah, it was definitely the start of the game. New South Wales were clearly rattled in that period immediately after the send off, and they were trying to get themselves set and structured in some way. It took them
a long time to figure it out too. Because it wasn't until the second half when they sort of shifted Crichton over the other side, and then kind of
What happened?
And that's Madge's fault as well, I imagine.
What happened with Jakey? Was he injured?
No, well, I think Madge. Well, this is the thing. It's just we talk about the interchanges and that, and I think it's just the coaching. I think it's actually a coaching mistake, but I mean, he made like 25 tackles in the first 20 minutes, no misses, did his job, and then I think Madge has just gone, oh fuck, we need to chase points now, so we need to fucking not putting the guy who was in the side for defence, but you got to think a little bit harder on it and go, but I mean, Jakey in the middle stops a lot of the shit that fucking goes through the middle as well, and actually spells a number of guys in, who don't have to work as hard in defence in the middle as well, Madge needs to fucking have a thing. But, look, I can't sacrifice, Madge on an altar after one game either, with a send off and everything like that. So I guess, I was very unhappy with the play of Nicho Hynes, and I'd be happy to see him get back on the do not represent list again. But otherwise, I'm pretty much fine. And obviously Swaley a bit. I mean, he's going to be suspended for like 4 weeks anyway, minimum, you'd think, right? But other than that, look, if they try same side, put Birdo in on the bench, please, because you never know. You never know, someone's going to get sent off.
Yeah.
Also, I think Madge's selection, I mean, it really did indicate that he wanted to take like a defensive grind sort of mindset into the game. And if you're going to do that, then obviously you can't be in a position where you got to chase points, and also. That goes straight out the fucking window if a guy gets sent off. And look, admittedly, a guy getting sent off in an Origin game is kind of a rare occurrence, and you probably couldn't factor on that happening. But still, what we spoke about last week was like the lack of versatility on the bench. I mean, it was just like forwards, like it wasn't, and there were none of those forwards who could really sort of cover multiple, like not even centre in a pitch, So
I probably questioned Reece Robson's selection as well. He made 50 tackles. And
he was fucking great.
I don't think...
He was one of their best players, if not their best.
You could really question, given his performance.
No, we were talking about it. Like we did speak about that last week as well. But I mean, like you look at the stats through the year and everything he's done through the season to date. Given the fact that who else would be eligible for New South Wales?
We spoke about him over
Appy, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's basically, he makes like twice the running meters. He's like, made twice the breaks, laid on twice the tries, made like a third of the errors, made like half the missed tackles. Like he's fucking he was a no-brainer when you look at it like that.
When it just stats, I just feel that if you're in that period when New South Wales was really on top physically, at the beginning of the second half,
extra layer of creativity.
Exactly. That extra attacking spark.
Yeah, well, just like how many teams in the NRL will run like with one fucking hooker for 80 minutes?
Lots.
Who?
Oh,
none of them.
I can't think of one.
You're right. Oh,
everyone
not even Damien Cook anymore.
No, because they got Mamazellus on there, and they've also had Sliver Havili at times as well. Yeah,
that's it.
So why in the most fucking tiring, intense form of the game, you gotta, even if you found yourself a fucking spare halfback somewhere to throw in on the,
especially when you got Hudson Young coming off there and delivering fuck all,
absolutely nothing. Yeah, and but playing like he thought he had the mandate to deliver things, like motherfucker. Look, I get it. You're frustrated. Your halfback's not producing, but I mean, no need to go into business for yourself. I mean, Jerome Luai's right there. Crichton's pretty good. Yeah, look to the players that are actually fucking, supposed to do that shit, bro.
Yes.
Any more words about that?
Look, I came into this game, and again, we've spoken about it briefly before, and we went into it in the lost episode. But that State of Origin.
We said so much wise shit in the last episode.
Yeah,
it's a shame you can't wait to hear it.
State of Origin has lessened the experience of enjoying rugby league. The amount of shit that I've seen where people are like, oh, this player, I'd love watching them, but they're a fucking Queenslander. Or I'd love watching them, but they're a filthy New South Welshman. Right? That was my view. And we spoke about how in other sports their all-star games are based on where they play.
Yeah.
Which, allows for, you can still be passionate about it because of where your club sits.
Yeah, and your guys are going to be playing for the...
That's it. But then, when a guy...
Unless you're a Lakers fan, because in that case you live in fucking Dallas, Texas. And Manchester in England.
But I now have the biggest reason that State of Origin has ruined our fucking game, because I have heard Nathan say on this podcast that Mitchell Moses should play a game, and that Trent Barrett was right.
That's
so,
look, that says it all. I mean, mark it down.
Fucking, really, that's worse than what's happening in fucking Gaza at the moment.
Oh Jesus!
As far as humanitarian crises go.
Motherfuckers, you got some hot takes tonight, boys.
Oh, wow. Previews.
Me and Crisis. All right, previews. Yeah, we're just doing the previews this week, just obviously because it's late and we're over. We're coming up to the new games. Okay, so this week. Okay,
say it.
Say what?
We're past Glennie's bedtime. Glennie's tired.
Look, can I be honest though? You are more with it like tonight.
Yeah.
Than you've been in weeks.
It's almost like you're lying to us when you tell us you're tired and you need to leave.
Did you have a coffee in expectation of the late night or something?
No, I didn't. I've just had a couple of nights where I've actually got reasonable amounts of sleep.
You're late off the voddies?
No, I haven't. Yeah, I didn't have one tonight. So if I did, I could guarantee you I would be ready to turn again. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so this week we got the Dolphins with the bye, the Raiders with the bye, and the Roosters with the bye. The fucking Roosters, like the team that Tedesco, Crichton, fucking Lemieux was the only one of them that could hold his head high, right? Swali, obviously, fucking game changer
for all the wrong reasons.
Fucking Uncle Nick's fucking putting bags on everybody. First up, Friday. We have the fucking blockbuster to kick off the round. The Dragons take on the West Tigers.
Oh,
hilarious.
Okay, so Glennie, talk us through this one.
Jeez, the Tigers got some changes.
They got some injuries and suspensions and things like that. So what do we got? We got Casey's out, Folletti's out, but you expect that because they're all little kids. Yeah, Clemmer's out.
Charlie Staines in the sentence.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Are you really gonna? Who is Alexander Lobb?
Oh, Lobby.
Oh yeah, Lobby. Oh, Lobster. Yeah, the Lobster.
The Lobster.
Rock Lobster.
Hands like claws.
He's look, the guy's a talent. He's quite tall, which is not a. He's 101 kilos, 196 centimeters.
Yeah, you're rolling. A bit like Solomon on the other side's the same, isn't he? Like, so you're rolling with like Twin Towers on the on the wings,
which is not like the Tigers. We've trotted out fucking Nofaluma and Matt Utai and
Taniela Tuaki.
Fucking Corey.
Corey Patterson.
Different Corey, but yeah, he was actually quite tall, Corey Patterson.
He was quite tall.
I could see where Sheensy was coming from.
Yeah, unfortunately, he was a back rower.
Unfortunately, he had a 13
Had
millimetre
had no other attributes for the wing.
His vertical leap measured 13 millimetres.
So I guess it's a matter of whether these two guys can, whether like Galvin and your mate Bud Sullivan can actually deliver some high kicks to these guys.
Yeah, let's hope Lockie gets the bulk of the kicking duties. But isn't Illawarra Jr. Was on a St George development contract. So, look, it's his revenge game. I expect him to get at it.
Yep. There you go.
Ben Hunt.
I would anticipate that Ben Hunt, Jane Sewer, and Zach Lomax all back up.
I suspect
particularly Lomax and Hunt, I think. I mean, the sting sort of went out of the game sort of in the last 20 minutes, really. So I think that most people, pending any injuries to players, I think most players should back up. And that changes the game somewhat because, well, I mean, although last week, I mean, the Dragons were very dominant winners.
True. Tigers are due a win, surely.
Yeah, I mean, like that due mathematics though is like, I mean, I'm sure you were due not to win a fucking wooden spoon too.
Oh, due. I thought you were getting political again. Fuck.
Yes, the West Tigers are going to end up under a mountain of Flanos rubble.
Well, I'll tell you, they have
like
fucking
the Feeney brothers.
Balmain has fucking annexed the people of the western suburbs and have bombarded them with their fucking black and orange bullshit for decades.
Yeah.
Fair call.
Bombarded them with L's. Although, let's face it, Western Suburbs Magpies, they could fucking pull out an L. They didn't need any help to get an L, like Goody, right?
Needed L's like oxygen. Yeah.
If Ben Hunt plays, and I think Lomax as well to an extent, then the Dragons are going to win.
They're heavy favourites too, the Dragons. Which
and deserve to be.
Yeah. I was talking to a supplier.
Well, they beat a full strength Penrith last week, so I mean, you can't fucking discount their current form.
I was talking to a supplier who's also a Tigers fan. He's in Sydney today, and he's like, "Oh, how are we going to go against the Dragons?"
Is that the one you had to have the night meeting with?
No, they were from Spain and Italy.
Do they not have the next days in Spain and Italy?
Sorry?
Nothing.
I love how you just cannot go on without me. It's very flattering, guys. So look, I know that I'm the star of the show, and you guys struggle to function without me. And look, I appreciate the flattery. But this is going to be a tough game for the Tigers to win. But I fucking really need them to win because I can't lose to fucking Cashy and Trotters. Fuck's sake.
Again.
Yeah.
Dragons
insufferable.
Dragons by 24 points.
Insufferable.
Titans take on the Rabbitohs up at Hope Solo Coliseum. Titans going to this one narrow favourites with their team list. What have we got here? So the return of Kieran Foran, Jaden Campbell on the reserves. What else we got there? Sammy in the centre as well. Jojo Fifita on the wing. So I guess, they've had a remarkably, successful period considering they had 3 hookers in their 13. But
in the spine.
But they decided to bring back a traditional half in the form of Kieran Foran back into the side. So will this hobble them again? Well, I mean, they're still going with a 2 hooker configuration. But the Rabbits, when you look at them on paper, it really is just it's a laugh of how fucking terrible they've been this year, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Titans still going to this one favourites. I mean, I just like I so badly want to tip South, but I mean, the Titans play with everything that they don't have this year, which is like they've got a strong baseline now after sort of turning it around in the last sort of month and a half. They've got some actual determination, and you can score two tries on the Titans early, and they can turn around and fight back into the game and make a game of it. Whereas the Rabbits are just like spectacular until something goes against them, and then it's just the same old, same old. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous when you look at that. When you look at their side, apart from Sean Kempy starting. I mean, other than that though, I mean, even their bench. I mean, like it's like it's a good fucking team, and it's a team that should absolutely put the cleaners through the Titans. But will they?
I don't think so. I'm going to tip the Titans at home.
Yeah,
same.
That's it.
Cowboys take on the Warriors up at the Abattoir in North Queensland. North Queensland will be without the GOAT, Jake Granville, who came in last week after playing fucking nothing and just absolutely dominating. They've got all of their Origin guys on their extended bench. So Holmes, Talangi did, and Reece Robson, Nanai, and Ruben Cotter. How many of those guys turn around and play? Who fucking knows? I don't follow the Cowboys closely enough week to week in injury reports and things like that to even know if guys are like, they need a rest because they're, something could happen. So look, I'm going to assume that being a Saturday afternoon game and a reasonably important game, I'm going to say so at least some of these Cowboys are going to play. The Warriors side, they welcome back Nickel Klukstart.
Yep.
And welcome back Adam Fanua-Blake, Wade Egan, Toru Harris, Kurt Capewell. Look, pretty
Capewell's
decent.
Been out for ages.
Yeah.
Pretty decent pack of guys to come back into a side, for being honest.
Yeah.
But particularly Wade Egan is like just so critical, and Adam Fanua-Blake. What the fuck is going on?
There's the other forgotten hooker for New South Wales. If he was injury free, based on form, would you have had him?
I don't think so. I still would have gone with like Appy and Robson in whatever order.
Yeah, okay.
But because I think there is a gap between like those guys and the rest, and like Appy, and maybe the gap isn't as wide with Appy and some of the guys, the other contenders, but Appy's been there, done that as well. Plus he's played a lot of football with like with Yo and Luai and these guys there. And while the Penrith stacking the New South Wales side with Panthers hasn't exactly worked in the past, I do think that it is particularly in a situation here where the game plan goes out the window and you've just got to make it up as you go.
Yeah,
I think that sort of shorthand can be beneficial.
I don't think he'd embarrass himself in a blue jersey though, Egan, if he was picked.
No, he'd probably get knocked out though. Or do his shoulder or some shit.
I think this will be a solid and competitive game, but I'll probably lean towards the Cowboys only because they're at home.
Yeah, at home, and also like a bunch of their guys, really high off the win as well if they play.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm tipping the Warriors. That they would know for sure how important it is for them to take advantage of this Origin period.
They're also broken.
Yeah, we'll see.
Broncos take on the Sharks. Saturday night, Suncorp Stadium. What do we got here? Tony Staggs comes in. Bunch of other cunts. Mainly because of they've straight up named Reece Walsh. I don't think he can play because he failed.
It's an 11-day stand out.
So because he actually passed his HIA.
Yeah, but it's still a Category 1.
Yeah, okay. So I was wondering how they're going to do that, if they're going to try and challenge or whatever.
I'm sure they will.
As he's walking off the field, my missus is like, look how adamant, look at him looking around how adamant he is. Or is that what he normally looks like? I'm going, no, that's just what he normally looks like. The jet ski experience still continues I don't know what Coach Adam Reynolds is doing, keeping him around, but I guess they paid the big bucks. Paid him the big bucks. Broncos I would expect that Selwyn Cobbo definitely turns around and plays. What about someone like Paddy Carrigan? Do you reckon they rest him?
I reckon he plays.
He plays.
He'd be the type of guy that would demand a backup, I reckon.
Yeah.
In that case, I'm going to go with Broncos because I think the Sharks are potentially. Oh well, they got to again this fucking Origin period. Like you just like Nico's not even. Is he not even a contender to play? I'm just looking.
Trindle and Atkinson.
Oh, okay. So Sharks will be solid then.
Yeah. They'll have a kicking game.
They'll have a kicking game of sorts.
Yeah.
Look,
I think Tristan Saylor will go to fullback, and I don't think it'll impact the Broncos. They won't be the same side, obviously, without Walsh, but I think they'll still be good enough to beat the Sharks.
Yep, that's it.
All right. And I think the Broncos should be able to handle the Sharks fairly comfortably. Wheels are going to fall off at some point. Okay, where are we? The Storms take on the Knights down at the Korean Housewife in Melbourne. Storms heavily favoured, as they should be.
Just Storms.
Will Warbrick is out, and I mean, like, that's actually a positive, net positive for the Storms. Otherwise, I mean, they weren't even like raped by Origin this year.
No,
or at least in game one. I mean, partially obviously because Cam Munster, most definitely would have been playing, but for the fact he was injured. But yeah, look, the Knights side, they've still got David Armstrong in their fullback. He had his first off sort of game last time around. Like, that's just as
He's probably entitled to the odd one of them, but yeah, the Knights overall.
Because he has been pretty much flawless. Yeah. And the Knights also, without Bradman Best, without Ponga, Fvcked was the one that got suspended for that fucking that lame headbutt, wasn't it?
Mm.
Is that the most retarded thing that you've seen?
Crazy.
I'm going to go on the record again. Something fucking Reed Marnie is like absolute fucking germ, right? Like the king of germ, but the thing that he does week in, week out, every single game, he gets a guy on the other side into absolute fucking tilt city. Every fucking time. And it's like, Magic Round, it was Whitehead, and we go there and he had the stuff to the point where right in front of the referee, you get a guy to step up and fucking headbutt you.
Yeah.
Like, surely
Genuine.
The coach is saying, isn't that something that is said through the week? Like, this guy is going to talk some shit. I don't know what he's going to say, but think about some deep, dark fucking thing that causes you mental anguish.
That's it.
He's going to say that thing.
He's hired a fucking private investigator to find out which drunken uncle molested you while you were holding which Christmas toy. Yeah. And in tackles, he's going to start whispering, "It was Donatello, wasn't it? It was Donatello." And take you back to your fucking worst moments of your life. How are they not game planning for this shit?
I mean, and I guess at the end of the day, these guys are brain damaged meat puppets, and so you can tell them everything on the leading up to the game. But when it gets when you're between the sidelines and the blood rush, you're under fatigue and stuff like that. I guess all that just goes out the window. But I mean, surely you're telling, especially the hotheads in your side, like when Manly play Newcastle. I'm just waiting for fucking what he says to fucking Nathan Brown or someone to try. He's just gonna pick the one because I mean, Manly, as an example, they're all fairly, apart from Brown, they're all fairly calm sort of characters. But so I figured that he'd probably be the one that would be targeted. But man, you just got to sit him down and say, listen, he's gonna say shit to you no matter what happens. Just turn and walk away. Yep. And it's gonna hurt him more than it hurts you to do that.
Exactly.
Let him say what he's going to say. But it's so hard telling these guys, I reckon. Anyway, what were we talking about? Storms by fucking plenty.
Yes.
Newcastle were horrible last week. The fans are starting to turn on Jackson Hastings, so he's on borrowed time. So
hasn't he just gone back to being what everyone thought he was?
He sort of kept it he sort of kept it going for quite a while.
Yeah. He was great at the Tigers. He was calm. He seemed to be a club man. It was, play wherever the coach needs me. Just happy to be involved. Da-da-da-da-da. Now all of a sudden he's that fucking smarmy cunt that no one's surprised people wanted out of their club.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Storm by a million.
Yep. Okay, Panthers versus the mighty Manly Seas Eagles. And this one, again, I'm going to assume that Toto was actually named in 17. He'll definitely play.
Yep.
Luai definitely play. Some of the forward, Martin and Yo, I don't know.
They definitely will. Definitely. typically will rest the forwards in this period if the last couple of years are anything to go on. Looks
Dylan
like
Edwards is apparently injured, so I don't know what the deal with him, how long that's or how bad that was meant to be, to keep him out of Origin. You would think that if he was okay to go on Sunday,
was it a hamstring or a quad?
I heard quad, but
yeah, okay.
You would think that if it was bad enough for him not to play on Wednesday in a game like you really you want to play.
Yeah,
they're not going to risk him on the Sunday.
No, no, and we had a couple of guys in our old man league do quads.
Yep.
And one of the guys that's medically inclined, he said a decent quad strain, minimum of your fitness level, like regardless of your fitness level, minimum 2 weeks.
Yeah, right. Okay. So in that case,
yeah.
Surprisingly, Manly going with Lehigh Hopewadi at fullback, with Kohler coming back a bit into the centres. I'm told that Lehigh is seen as potentially the future at fullback, and the real balancing act with him is not his age, it's not his experience level, it's the fact that you need to get his contract sorted out because his father expects him to be paid Origin money after one good game. Which happened with the one before and happened with William obviously back in the early 2010 period as well.
There you go. So Martin and Yo have been named.
They've actually been named in the 13 as well, which is, to me is kind of an indication that
they expect them to back up,
barring injury or anything unforeseen, that they'd be expected to play.
Yeah, that's it.
And I expect all the Manly guys to play as well. Because Daly can play in a fucking he can play in tuxedo, in those Origin games. And Jake and Homoli didn't overly exert themselves either. We may see Jake Simpkin come in week 1, but we shall see. I know that Croker, I heard rumours of medical retirement, but apparently it's not that bad. But I don't know if you've known anyone this has happened to. It actually happened to Simone, but when the crystals in your inner ear fuck up and you just lose your equilibrium completely, you just got to fucking lie there.
Yeah, right.
Basically, and then you can take medications and things like that to kind of fix it up, and then you can do things to stop it happening again. But the first time it happens though, it's you just don't know what the fuck's going on. It's just you're just fucking gone.
Yeah, fuck.
And so apparently that's what he's been. They're saying it's a neck injury after the concussion he suffered against the Raiders, a month or so ago. But from what I'm hearing, it's more something like that. So I guess he comes back when he comes back, which is why they grabbed Simpkin in what is potentially the fucking deal of the century if he plays any first grade for us, because they got him for the Tigers have been paying him $400,000 a year, and I guess they felt like they had to overpay. Initially, because he was kind of the best hooker in his class coming out of that, Queensland at the time, a real blue chip. We're getting him for nothing for the rest of the year, 170 next year, 250 the year after. So if he plays fine in a 14 jersey, even it's an absolute fucking bargain. Now, look, Penrith had more players in when Manly smashed them last time. Frankly, I don't see. I don't know.
But that
smashed last week by the Dragons at full strength.
Penrith are definitely in a place where they need to reset. They had a great win over the Sharks, but then the outs that they've had really put them back in a precarious position.
I think if Dylan Edwards doesn't play, that's such a huge fucking factor. For them,
it is.
That there's a match lead factor because he was there when we smashed him last time,
Penrith big favourites too, but still,
it's ridiculous. That's
game.
Almost free money. Even if Penrith win the game, I think there must be if they're putting Manly at $3.10, then there's got to be some fucking line or point start or something that's just free money in the betting. Honestly, because it's just fucking it's absolutely ridiculous. Manly are going to win the game. Potentially win it well, and
again, that was a milestone game. That was one of the 3 things that you can look back at positively when you guys miss out on finals this year.
Whose milestone was it?
Wasn't it Cherry Evans' milestone?
No, yeah, he's
Like
maybe he's one of them. He's had two. He's had
like,
two.
did
this
he get
year,
his?
So maybe.
He got his NDIS plan upgraded or something?
That's your State of Origin game one man of the match there that you're referring to, sir. And absolutely just piling on the fucking legacy, as he will this Sunday when Manly smash Penrith at home, win both of the games for the season, because there's no way Penrith will get to a third one with him in the grand final. And
there we go.
Juggernaut keeps on trucking. Free money, fucking $3.10. My God. The Dogs take on the Eels Monday, 4 p.m. What's on Monday?
Why Monday?
Something there's a holiday down there, is it?
Origin. Or is it Labor Day?
I don't know.
Who fucking knows?
It's the dog. They just got us the Dogs versus the Eels. They're all unemployed anyway.
Yeah.
Who fucking cares when it's on?
That's it.
And this one's at Accor Stadium. The Doggies side. What do we got here? Addo Carr is out. You would imagine that Crichton would back up. Burton's certainly going to be there. The Eel side. Simonson out. Jermaine Hopgood, Jay Janasi, Morgan Harper, Joey Lussick, is all reserves. Ryan Madison. Madison is another one I've heard that he's suffering badly from like complications from an HIA, and that's why he's been in this extended bench for like the last 4 or 5 weeks. Apparently he's having the same issues. Like he can't get his shit together. Like so I don't know. I don't know if he's cooked for good, but he's struggling as well with the HIA shit.
Yeah, fuck.
Look, I mean, Mitchell Moses is potentially playing for a State of Origin jersey. The Dogs' defence has been amazing. I mean, it's the first part of the Serraldo system to kind of click. I mean, the point scoring kind of doesn't really start until the game's well and truly won, and the other team sort of chucked it in at the end, and then they sort of pour it on a little bit. But look, the improvement is definitely there. You can see the upward trajectory for the side. The Eels, for their part, look like a completely different team with Gutho and Moses back. So it's actually going to be one of the better games of the round, I think. More competitive games of the round.
I'm going to lean towards the Dogs.
Yeah,
I agree.
I would probably lean towards the Dogs as well, just because you don't know if that Eels game last week was, sort of a bit of a bounce back or a flash in the pan or that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I will say this: if Moses plays the way that he did last week, then the Eels have got a massive chance of winning. Massive.
You guys talk about James Hardy coming back as a sponsor for Para?
I don't think we did. But let's go, Glennie.
It's the most bizarre, tone deaf, fucking hanging on to the past load of bullshit.
Yeah, and look, I'd like
why?
Like, let's just say, for example, if Dada still existed and became like the major sponsor of the Panthers, or if Pepsi came back and was the major sponsor of Manly, whatever. Well,
but again,
Masterton Homes,
if they've got the money,
yeah, and that's all it comes down to from the football
if they've got
club
the
perspective.
like they're a nostalgic. Like if Warmold came back and wanted to be on the front, like there are things sponsors that I remember off jerseys of my childhood that that have nostalgia, but Pepsi, Warmold, Masterton Homes, Dada. None of them fucking
killed everybody's grandparents
and killed everyone's fucking nana and pop. Putting asbestos in fucking everything.
Well, I tell you, Joseph Dada and Company is still committed to providing you with the highest quality apparel.
Like they did back in the day when you had the fucking rainbow black jerseys. That was the shit.
The licorice all sorts.
They're the greatest Panthers strip ever.
Fucking oath. I don't know, Glennie. In a world where there's so much to be fucking triggered by, that's a weird hill to die on.
Oh,
and in a world where everything
is, I just think it's a bizarre decision.
Oh, that was a
you
fair
think
fucking rant.
Like I see where Glennie's upbringing and where Glennie comes from. I mean, like pretty much everyone he grew up with, Poppy got killed by fucking Hardy. Essentially. Am I right, Glennie?
Look, you're not far wrong.
He couldn't fucking go down. He couldn't go down to the corner store to buy a fucking pack of cigars for his old man without walking past fucking dudes in wheelchairs with the fucking pipes coming out of their faces and shit. Big breathing tubes.
Oh,
Yeah, look. Do they make products now that don't kill people?
I
honestly, I'm ignorant
suspect
to
so.
what
It's
the
not a
Hardy
good look
products
to
are.
still continue to do that thing that you tried to cover up.
Yeah, and maybe sponsor somebody in the Super League or something where you probably didn't go through killing everybody. Yeah.
Anyway. There we go. We're good. We're done.
We are pretty much done.
We did it.
Yeah, there's no mailbag talk about. But look at this. We're coming up on an hour. This is amazing.
Fuck yeah.
Anything else you want to add before we go then?
If you're not in our Facebook group, jump on to Facey and search hashtag TWiL Nation in groups. There's a thread in there at the moment to plug a gap because of the lost episode. We're going to run a mid-season review, but we've thrown the opportunity out for a couple of fans to give their idea of where their club sits in the mid-season. So just jump on. Please be a cunt that can follow simple instructions. Please be a cunt that can follow simple instructions.
It's a lot to ask.
Like there's a post and it says, if you would like to enter to give your opinion on your team, please click like next to your club. And still, I had fucking cunts commenting other people's names.
Yeah, look. I guess
if they're notifying them of the post, that's fine.
Yeah, to be like, I think, to be charitable.
Yeah.
You'd say, well, look, maybe, you can't like someone else's name,
But just, like. But everything's going to be randomly drawn. Our patrons, if they've nominated themselves, they're going to get multiple entries into the draw for their team because they're patrons and we'll look after them. But everyone's in with a shot. You have to be able to take a 5-minute Skype call and fucking be okay with us using your voice for deep fakes. So jump on. We'll be kicking that off next week.
Wonderful. Just seeing that is on the player ratings. I'm seeing that they've given DCE a 10 for this game. Fucking incredible. The man's 35 years old. It's the Tom Brady of the fucking NRL. Michael Jordan of the NRL. It's incredible. Do you want to end this fucking call right now quickly before I get fucking started?
Don't you hate Tom Brady?
Yeah, I hate Tom Brady.
Okay.
But I understand the position that he that he is in terms of like the achievements and whatnot in the game. So
So
I can respect that.
Do you reckon DCE open kisses his carer on the mouth?
Oh Jesus.
Well, he doesn't have a carer. He has a fucking beautiful wife and beautiful children. He has a lovely family.
Oh, easy breezy, beautiful cover girl.
Covering for what exactly? Please say it.
For being his fucking disability carer.
Make it the end.
Socialising him.
Oh my god.
Like he's lucky.
Gonna let it sit there.
He's lucky that he fucking started playing football before Love on the Spectrum was a thing.
So okay, so now you've gone on about autistic people. Now who's next? I mean, isn't it Pride Month or Pride? Whatever. Do you want to say anything about the LGBT community while you're at the end of the show?
Be proud of everything.
Anything else?
No. Fuck Taylor and May. Well done to Penrith for sacking him.
Please make it
Yeah,
stop.
so on that, apparently what they're sacking him for is not anything to do with the punching his wife allegedly in the face. It's not the court thing. It's something else.
Yeah,
a series of.
We don't have full details on it, but he was produced a show cause notice, which is essentially please explain. I would assume that it would reference the fucking arrest and pending charges.
Yeah, but I think to cover themselves, wouldn't they? They'd have to be
correct.
Like innocent before guilty. Yeah, so not actually and they can't talk about the other stuff because he's already been sacked over that and did come back afterwards anyway, hasn't he? Like the back in the day, the old the rat bag incidents and stuff.
But then again, there's been all of that other stuff. that he hasn't been. Oh, look, he may have been cautioned internally, but the stuff like being in a car going 90 through a school zone.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And then posting it on social media.
Yeah,
you know,
so he's been doing all that like anti-vax sort of cooker posting as well
and
recently.
then the way he behaved. Again, they are a very, very wealthy, lawyered up club, so I'm sure they've ticked every T and crossed every I and dotted every fucking whatever.
And I tell you, like, I mean, nobody fucking signed this gun.
Yeah, but look, I tell you, it's taken us some fucking time, but we are moving towards that place that we've wanted the game to get to for a long time, where if you know a player is bad news, because the fear was always there. You sack someone, and then all of a sudden they end up somewhere else, and every game's a revenge game, and they come back to haunt you, and every loss you have to the new team they're at, you know, that decision to stand up for something comes back.
Yep.
But I think we're getting close to that point where that's not going to be a worry anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah,
especially with him. I mean, he's not like talent fucking mate. He's not that good.
Yeah.
He's not good enough to carry out shit. I mean, you think like, you know, when Canberra had to, you know, sacrifice like, you know, Todd Carney and like Josh Dugan and stuff at the altar. I mean, they were like legitimately fucking great players in their peak.
Yeah, 100%.
Like game winning players, you know.
Yeah.
But Taylor May's never been that.
Ever.
No.
Ever. Anyway.
There we go.
On that note.
What a finish. We're out.
See you next week.
Later.
See ya.